Tillis.
Thanks, everybody. Mr. Vanderskoff, I get that close to right?
Yes.
Dairy industry, how much do you all rely on seasonal workers, H-2B workers, to make your operations work?
Well, sir, first of all, appreciate the question. We, in the dairy industry, do not have access to seasonal workers, to be quite frank about it.
Which program you use right now, or how do you supplement labor?
So we have only access to domestic labor. We have no access to any type of imported or foreign-born labor.
How easy is it to get people to show up?
It's getting to be more of a struggle, I'll admit. I will throw in there on our farm side, if I have a crop farm, which I do, I am able to use H-2A labor for the farm only. But on the dairy side, because we are not seasonal, we do not have access to any of the H-2A programs that would.
So not even, at one point we were talking about possibly expanding H-2B or H-2A to cover dairy, but you have no hope right now. And I can't imagine your labor pool is going to grow over time. Would you agree with that?
Domestic? Well, sir, I would counter a little bit to say that I'm a dairyman, so I always have hope.
Okay.
I'm an optimistic guy.
Well, in that business,
but I would say, yeah, from our prospects looking right now, it's a challenge looking forward. I would agree with you.
Thank you. Chair Brady, I admired your work on Ways and Means. I actually, back when I was Speaker, shortly after I became Speaker, we had a lot of people trying to file a lot of not really smart bills. So I was inspired by the very powerful committee on Ways and Means in Congress. I created a Ways and Means committee. The only difference was it never met. And when I referred a bill there, I told the member, because there ain't no way and you got no means. You, on the other hand, did an extraordinary job as chair. And I guess the question I have for you, not only do I think we need to update and reinforce our commitment to Canada and Mexico markets, but what more should we do? What should we put our accelerator on? And to what extent, and Mr. McCarthy, you could chime in on this one too, to what extent are these other tariffs that are not, we know that a lot of this tariff noise goes away because USMCA exempts a lot of it, but to what, you use the analogy in your opening statement that these are our biggest customers. So what happens, in extending that analogy, if we continue to impose tariffs outside of that agreement, how well is our customer going to receive that over time? I get using it as a device here and there, but for the long term, how does that actually make it more difficult to negotiate anything productive in the USMCA?
Yeah, and I think we all recognize the President's imposing maximum leverage on a number of issues, including on trying to rebalance these trade relationships, drive strategic industry back. Absolutely get that. But in USMCA, those tariffs are devastating because they break up the integration that occurs across
Who wins
the
in that right now? I feel like China and other players win if we don't get that right with our key, like you said, these are our key customers.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if they end the review, those exemptions that have been there in the past are no longer there, and there are tariffs. You have really seriously harmed the incentive for companies to nearshore and reshore, and not just Mexico, Canada, but here in the U.S. That integration,
if we learn anything
low tariffs.
Out of COVID, I think that we may be making a mistake if we think all of these jobs and all these operations can come back into the U.S. But getting into this hemisphere and getting into some of our closest trading partners that also have similar rule of law and democratic underpinnings for their governmental system seems to make sense to me. And if we create more barriers, then I think it's going to have a perverse negative impact on onshoring or nearshoring operations that we do want to bring back home.
It does, and I think it makes it tougher for us all, I think, to achieve the President's goal of streamlined supply chains, critical minerals moving to the U.S. for a growing economy. So it would have a serious effect.
Mr. McCarthy, in 32 seconds, because I don't want to make Senator Blackburn mad.
Well, first, thank you, Senator Tillis. And by the way, North Carolina is a very big source of supplier jobs, over 38,000 supplier jobs, one of the top 10 states in the U.S. Yes, when we speak with our members, one of their biggest whys for USMCA is it fundamentally gives us those economies of scale and scope so that we can compete with global competition. We can compete with global competitors who often have higher scale, who are often maybe pursuing unfair business practices. This is all about strengthening U.S. manufacturing, and that's their argument about why we need to see that continuation and that certainty about the future
Yeah, it's whoever's
for USMCA.
here who's highest.